The Roman army: weapons, tactics, and warfare. Weaponry. The Roman army was renowned for its discipline, organization, and the efficiency of its weaponry. A significant part of its success lay in its use of a variety of weapons, each serving different purposes and adapted to diverse situations on the battlefield. One of the most iconic weapons of the Roman legionary was the Gladius. This short, double-edged sword was primarily used for stabbing and thrusting in close combat. The Gladius was designed for efficiency and deadly precision, rather than brute strength. The short length of the blade allowed for better control and maneuverability, especially in the tight formations that Roman soldiers often fought in. The primary disadvantage of the Gladius was its lack of reach, but Roman tactics usually compensated for this by initiating combat with another weapon, the Pilum. Before we proceed further, don't forget to subscribe to the Roman Chronicles. Let's get back to the video. The Pilum was a javelin used by Roman soldiers, designed specifically to penetrate enemy shields and armor. The Pilum had a long iron shank which, upon hitting the enemy shield, would bend and render the shield useless, while also preventing the Pilum from being thrown back. The disadvantage of the Pilum was that it was a one-use weapon. Once thrown, a soldier would not recover it during the battle. The Scutum, the large rectangular shield used by Roman legionaries, was as much a weapon as a piece of protective equipment. Its size and shape allowed soldiers to protect themselves and their comrades, while also enabling the formation of the Testudo, or tortoise formation, where shields would be aligned to provide protection from all sides. The main drawback of the Scutum was its weight, which could tire soldiers during long engagements or marches. In terms of siege warfare, the Romans were masters of various types of artillery, one of the most famous being the ballista. This large crossbow-like machine could launch heavy bolts or spherical stones over great distances, making it an effective weapon for attacking enemy fortifications or troops from a safe distance. The ballista, however, was complex and costly to produce, and required skilled operators and considerable time to load and fire. The choice and use of these weapons reflect the Roman military's adaptability and the practical nature of its tactics. The Gladius, Pilum, and Scutum were designed to be effective in the type of close-order combat that the Romans excelled in, while the ballista represented the advanced engineering skills of the Romans and their approach to siege warfare. Each weapon had its advantages and disadvantages, but in combination, they gave the Roman army the flexibility and effectiveness it needed to conquer and control its vast empire. Tactics. The Roman military was renowned for its strategic and tactical sophistication. The army employed a broad spectrum of tactics suited to varying types of warfare, terrains, and adversaries, which played a pivotal role in Rome's expansion and longevity as an empire. Once iconic Roman formation was the Testudo, or tortoise formation. This was primarily used during sieges or when approaching enemy fortifications. Soldiers would align their shields to form a protective shell on all sides and overhead, safeguarding themselves from projectiles. The primary strength of the Testudo lay in its almost impenetrable defense, but it sacrificed mobility and required high discipline to maintain. It was also vulnerable to melee attacks if enemy soldiers could get close enough. The wedge formation was another tactic employed by the Roman army. Soldiers would form a tight triangular group designed to break through enemy lines. The sharp point of the wedge would first contact the enemy, creating a rupture that the rest of the formation could then exploit. The wedge required excellent discipline and courage, as the soldiers at the tip of the formation were especially vulnerable. The maniple system was a tactical formation that was fundamental to the Roman army during the Republic. The army was divided into two maniples, flexible units of 120 men, which could maneuver independently on the battlefield. This system provided the Romans with a more versatile and reactive force than the phalanx system used by many other adversaries. The maniples could adapt to rough terrain and encircle enemies, but it required extensive training and discipline to operate effectively. Decimation was a severe form of military punishment used by the Romans to discipline units that had shown cowardice or insubordination. 1 in every 10 men would be beaten to death by his fellow soldiers. This brutal practice was intended to instill fear and maintain discipline within the ranks. However, it was a double-edged sword, as it could also lead to a significant loss of manpower and a decrease in the morale of the troops. The choice of tactics depended on a variety of factors, including the nature of the enemy, the terrain, and the specific objectives of a campaign. The Romans were known for their ability to adapt their tactics according to the situation. For instance, they would use the maniple system in hilly terrain where the Testudo would be impractical. Similarly, while Decimation was an effective tool for maintaining discipline, it was used sparingly, given its impact on morale and manpower. Warfare. The Roman army engaged in a diverse array of wars and campaigns throughout its history, shaping the destiny of the Roman Empire and leaving a lasting impact on the world. And from defensive battles against barbarian invasions to conflicts with rival powers, the Punic Wars were a series of 3 major conflicts fought between Rome and Carthage, a powerful city in North Africa. The causes of these wars were rooted in economic rivalry, territorial ambitions, and control over Mediterranean trade routes. The Punic Wars resulted in Roman victory and the expansion of Roman influence in the Western Mediterranean, solidifying Rome as the dominant power in the region. The Gallic Wars, led by Julius Caesar, were fought against Celtic tribes in Gaul, modern-day France. The primary motive behind these wars was Caesar's ambition for personal glory, expansion of Roman territory, and control over the rich resources of Gaul. The Gallic Wars ended with Roman victory, resulting in the annexation of Gaul as a Roman province and establishing Caesar as a powerful figure in Roman politics. The civil wars were internal conflicts that erupted within the Roman Empire, pitting Roman factions and generals against each other for political power and control. These conflicts, such as the ones between Caesar and Pompey, or Octavian and Mark Antony, had far-reaching consequences for the Roman Republic and ultimately led to the establishment of the Roman Empire under Augustus. The barbarian invasions were a series of military campaigns launched by various Germanic tribes against the weakening Western Roman Empire in the 4th and 5th centuries. These invasions were driven by a combination of factors, including pressure from other migrating peoples. The barbarian invasions ultimately led to the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the disintegration of Roman political control in the West. Each of these wars and campaigns had significant consequences for the Roman Empire. The conquest of the Punic Wars expanded Roman territories. The Gallic Wars solidified Roman control over Gaul and contributed to Caesar's political dominance. The Civil Wars transformed the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire, leading to significant political and social changes. The barbarian invasions marked the beginning of the end for the Western Roman Empire, highlighting its decline and vulnerability to external threats. These wars and campaigns were driven by a mix of motives, including expansion, rivalry, and the need for political reform, such as Caesar's pursuit of power. Others were a response to external pressures and threats to Roman territory, shaping the course of Roman history and leaving a profound impact on the world that would endure for centuries to come. The Roman army played a crucial role in shaping the Roman Empire and exerting a significant influence on the ancient world. Through its sophisticated weaponry, strategic tactics, and diverse campaigns, the Roman army expanded the empire's territories, maintained control over vast regions, and defended against external threats. The Roman army was important and influential for several reasons. Firstly, the Roman army's disciplined and organized structure, coupled with its adaptability in employing different tactics for various situations, allowed for the successful military campaigns and the projection of Roman power across diverse regions. Moreover, the Roman army's influence extended beyond military conquest. It played a pivotal role in promoting Roman culture, language, and law throughout the empire. The army acted as a conduit for cultural exchange, spreading Roman customs and values to conquered peoples and assimilating elements of their cultures in return. As for the nature of the Roman army, it was a complex institution with a range of characteristics. While it had formidable strength and achieved remarkable victories, the army faced defeats and setbacks, particularly during periods of internal conflict and the decline of the empire. Loyalty among the troops varied, with instances of both remarkable fidelity. Similarly, the perception of the Roman army's character varied depending on the context. It encompassed both heroic feats of bravery and ruthless brutality. The army demonstrated discipline and valor in battle, but it can also be ruthless in enforcing discipline, as seen in practices such as decimation. The Roman army was a force to be reckoned with, showcasing the might and sophistication of the Roman Empire, as evidenced by the defeats and internal conflicts. The loyalty of soldiers depended on various factors, including the leadership and the prevailing conditions. Having discussed the intricacies of the Roman army and its impact on the world, we'd like to ask you a question. Which aspect of the Roman army do you find most intriguing? Is it their unique, innovative weaponry, or the vast scope of their warfare across different terrains and adversaries? Please share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. We value your perspective and look forward to a lively discussion. Thank you for your time, and we hope you continue to engage with our content.